you actually talk about the original Greek and Aramaic of the Last Supper and what was actually being said about prayer and gathering together, and some of the translations that maybe are now mistranslations, but when you really go back, this is what they were talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, that was fascinating to me. So this was all about the power of eight, because after I had done the intention experiment, I wanted to scale it down into a workshop. This is back in 2008. And um, I put people into groups. I wasn't really sure what I was doing, but I had kicked around the idea with my husband and some of our team members. And I said, I don't know, maybe I'll put them in groups of 8 or so and have them send intention to someone with a health challenge. We'll see what happens. And I didn't really expect that it would work. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would just make people relaxed, a feel good effect, like getting someone to massage your shoulders. But that wasn't what happened. The next day, when we asked the people to come back and to report on how they were, the people who were the subjects of intention, those people stood up and said one of them had been limping very badly the day before, and she walked in walking normally. And someone else said she had suffered from depression and it felt lifted. Somebody else, I have a chronic bad gut with IBS and it's normal. And somebody else, the most amazing one, I have cataracts and they're 80% better. So I was blown off my chair by all of this. And I was also a little frightened by it. Every time I had a workshop, every time I gave a talk, I put people into groups of 8 or so. And I, to date, have seen 3 people get up out of their wheelchairs, one paralyzed from the neck down. I've seen 2 people who could barely walk with crutches throw away their crutches after one Power of 8 group. Numerous people with stage 4 cancer reverse it. A woman who was going blind now has 20/20 vision. A woman who was going deaf now is able to hear or was completely deaf, and so on. Now, when you talk about the looking back and trying to find the original language that Jesus was talking to his apostles, the reason I did that is because as I was seeing these miracles unfold, I was saying to myself, well, I couldn't have thought of this. I'm not, this can't just have originated with me. But when I looked at a lot of the other religions or practices, indigenous practices, there was almost always a guru. And there isn't a guru, although I teach everybody all of the techniques that I have learned over the years to but I teach all the people that come to my courses how to master intention using all the techniques that I have learned and tested and studied over the years. Um, I knew that in my instance, there was no guru. I was initially teaching them, but then they got into groups by themselves. And all of the other religions or practices seem to have a shaman, a guru, a head priest, or whatever. So I started looking and looking, and I finally found that there had been a mistranslation of the Bible from the Hellenic Greek. Now it's been translated and translated and translated, those original writings. But I looked at the Acts, which is the portion of the Bible that recounts what Jesus told his apostles before he died and ascended. And he was telling them, pray, and in the King James version that we all read now in English, it says, he said to pray with one accord. That is such an anemic translation of the original Hellenic Greek. In that version, it talks about how he said, pray homothumadon, which is a word that means, it's a musical term, and it means passionately and with one voice. So, what it says over and over in the Acts is pray this way, passionately and with one voice, and you will heal and you will be healed. So that blew my mind. It was like the original Power of 12. He was telling his apostles, pray together. Don't pray alone, pray together and watch what happens. And that's certainly what we've found too.
What's going on, guys? If you like that clip right there, you will love the full interview. You can check that out right there. I'll see you on the next video. Oh, and subscribe, because we got a lot of big things coming up in the near future.